everyone. My name is Taylor Rouanzion, and I'm a youth librarian at Lexington Public Library. I'm here today to talk to you about some books about friendship, which I know is important to everyone, but is especially important when you're in middle school, right? Okay, so the first book that I want to talk to you about is called Goodbye Stranger by Rebecca Stead. So, in Goodbye Stranger, the main character, Bridge, has been wearing cat ears to school every day since the beginning of 7th grade. At first, her friends think it's hilarious. They love her cat ears. After all, they are the friends that always doodle animals on the corners of their homework. But after a while, Bridge's friends start to think that maybe she should stop wearing the cat ears. After all, they are in 7th grade now, and the cat ears might be a little immature. When Bridge and Sherm and Em first became friends back in 4th grade, they had one rule: no fighting. But the cat ears are becoming a problem. Are Bridge and her friends just growing apart? Are they just not interested in the same things anymore? Can they still continue to be friends even though Bridge still loves animals and wearing cat ears and being silly, and her friends don't feel like that anymore? Well, you'll have to read Goodbye Stranger to find out. The next book I want to talk to you about is To Night Owl from Dogfish by Holly Goldberg Sloan and Meg Wolitzer. Dear Avery, you don't know me, but I'm writing you anyway. Our dads have been secretly dating. I know for a fact that they met at a conference last year and have been seeing each other in secret ever since then. And worse than that, they are going to send us away to camp this summer just so they can spend time alone. I don't know about you, but I don't want to do that. I think if we refuse to follow their plan, then we can foil their plans and not have to go. Are you with me? Love, Bet. Dear Bet, I think you have the wrong person. Sincerely, Avery. This book, To Night Owl from Dogfish, is a book of emails and letters written back and forth between two girls, Bet and Avery, who live across the country from each other. They don't know each other, but their dads, who are both single, met last year and are secretly dating now. Not only that, they want to send Bet and Avery to the same summer camp so that they can get to know each other and be friends. But Bet and Avery do not want to go, and they do not like each other. Can they put their differences aside long enough to foil their dad's plan? Or will they become even worse than friends? Sisters. You'll have to read to find out. The next book I want to tell you about is called The Miscalculations of Lightning Girl by Stacey McAnulty. I don't remember the moment that changed my life 4 years ago. Call it a side effect of being struck by lightning. That bolt of electricity burned a small hole in my memory. It also rewired my brain, turning me into Lucy Fanny Callahan, math genius. Lucy Callahan was struck by lightning when she was just 8 years old. After that lightning strike, she instantly became amazing at math. She's so good at math now that she is only 12 years old and is ready to go to college. and she wants to. She wants to go to college. She is ready to go. But her grandma thinks that she's not quite ready. She wants Lucy to go to middle school for 1 year before she can go to college. And not only that, she wants her to be in one activity and make at least one friend. It's that last one that Lucy is most worried about. She knows she's not like other kids. After all, she can recite pi to the 314th decimal. Not exactly the kind of thing that gets you invited to the popular table. So, when she's assigned to a class project with two of her classmates, Levi and Wendy, she knows it's not going to go well. And at first, she's right. They don't get along. But soon, when they volunteer at an animal shelter, it turns out that Lucy's math skills are actually really useful for their project. And not only that, Wendy start to bond with Lucy over animals and other things. It turns out that they have more in common than she thought. Will middle school turn out to be not so bad after all? Or is it going to be even worse than she imagined? You'll have to find out. The next book that I want to tell you about is Maybe He Just Likes You by Barbara D. So before we get into this book, I want to show you my hula hoop skills. No, I'm just kidding. When I was in elementary school, I learned about a concept called your hula hoop of personal space. So what we learned is that when this hula hoop is around you, this is your private space, and no one is allowed to come inside your circle of private personal space without your permission. In Maybe He Just Likes You, Mila has a problem. The boys at her school are constantly in her hula hoop of personal space. First, it just starts out with an unwelcome hug, but then it escalates to a full-on game where the boys compete to see how many times they can touch her in one day. Mila is not a fan. She doesn't like being touched by the boys, and she really doesn't like the game. She tries to complain to her friends about it, but they just don't understand. They say, "What's the big deal? They're just having fun. They're just being boys. In fact, they're flirting with you. You should be flattered." But Mila still doesn't like it, and she can't get them to stop. She really needs her friends to back her up. Will Mila be able to convince her friends that what the boys are doing is not okay? Can she get them to back her up and get the boys to stop? Or will her friends convince her that it's really just not that big of a deal? You'll find out if you read Maybe He Just Likes You by Barbara D. The next book that I want to tell you about is called Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World by Ashley Herring Blake. Ivy Aberdeen is having a really rough year. Her home was destroyed by a tornado. She and her very big family, her 2 parents, and her 3 siblings, and her all have to live in one motel room together. It's crowded and it's crazy, and she feels invisible and lost in all the chaos. Have you ever felt invisible? If so, this is the book for you. Ivy learns that not only did her house get destroyed in the tornado, but her prized possession, her sketchbook, also got lost. At first, she thinks that it just got destroyed by the tornado, but then it turns out that one of her classmates has found her sketchbook and is leaving her secret notes in her locker at school, telling her that she has it. Now, you might think this is not a big deal. It's just a sketchbook. It's just drawings. But actually, Ivy's sketchbook also contains her biggest secret. She likes girls. And nobody knows. She's never told anybody. And this classmate, this secret keeper, if they tell the whole school that Ivy likes girls, then her secret will be out. And it might just be worse to be seen for your biggest secret than to be invisible. Ivy doesn't feel safe coming out to anyone. She doesn't know how her parents will react if she comes out to them. She doesn't know how her sister will react, but she has a pretty good idea because one time she overheard her sister's friends coming out to her sister, and her sister did not react kindly at all. So Ivy is terrified to come out to her older sister. Ivy feels like she has no one that she can turn to. She's surrounded by people, but so alone. But then it turns out that the note leaver who has her sketchbook might actually be the one person she can confide in. It turns out that they support Ivy, and they support her coming out and being who she is. This book is about finding out that sometimes there are worse things than being invisible, and also that sometimes you can find friendship in the most unexpected places. The last book I want to tell you about is called So Done by Paula Chase. Matai Johnson is so excited for her best friend Jamila to come home after a summer spent with her aunt. Matai has missed Jamila so much, but all that Jamila is excited about is trying out for the new dance team at their school. Matai also dances, but she's really not as good of a dancer as Jamila. And Matai is worried that she's not going to make the team if she tries out. She's determined to audition, but she really doesn't think she's going to get in. So what's going to happen between Matai and Jamila if they're not on the dance team together? Will they still be friends? It's such a sticking point between them that Matai doesn't even really want Jamila to try out because dance is all that Jamila talks about, and Matai feels like they have nothing in common anymore. But Jamila thinks that Matai is not being a very supportive friend because Matai should be excited for her friend and want her to do well at her dancing. Does it really make you a bad friend if you don't want them to do well at something just so that they can stick close to you? These are the important questions that they ask in So Done. There are some difficult things that you have to navigate in your friendships in middle school. And these books help cover so many of those challenges. So I really encourage you to take the time and read all of them and learn something new about your friendships. Thank you so much for coming to my book talk today, and I hope you all have a great day.